You're mine now. Sky's eyes snapped open to a stranger's face. Dark, beautiful, terrifying. His arms locked around her waist. His heart beat against her cheek. Get off. Shh. His thumb pressed against her racing pulse. Fighting only makes it harder, Bambina. She tried to scream. His hand covered her mouth. Your father sold you to pay his debts. $50 million. His breath scorched her ear. He chose the money over you 3 weeks ago, signed the papers, took the first payment. Sky's world shattered. Welcome to the Castelli estate. You're not leaving until he pays. And sweetheart, his smile was pure ice. He's not going to pay. Before this story destroys you, hit subscribe and stay until the end to see if Sky survives. Comment your city below so I can see how far her nightmare has traveled. Sky bit his hand, hard. Romelo jerked back with a curse and she threw herself off his lap, stumbling across thick carpet and shoes that cost more than her rent. You son of a... Careful. He examined the crescent of teeth marks on his palm, almost admiring. I like fire, but there are limits. Limits, Sky's laugh came out shredded. You just told me my father sold me. I told you the truth. Romelo stood 6'3" of controlled violence in a 3-piece suit. Would you prefer I lied? I'd prefer you let me go. Not an option. She lunged for the door. He moved faster, impossibly fast, slamming his palm against the wood above her head. The boom echoed through the study. Sky was trapped between the door and his body. Move, she whispered. No. I'll scream. You already did. In the car on the way here. You don't remember. His voice dropped intimate. You were unconscious, but your body remembered the fear. You whimpered my name. Sky's stomach turned. I don't know your name. You do now. He leaned closer and she smelled expensive cologne and something darker underneath. Romelo Castelli, say it. Go to hell. Say it. The command in his voice made her knees weak. Sky hated herself for it. Romelo, she bit out. Good girl. He stepped back, releasing her. See, you can follow instructions. Sky's hand flew before she could think a slap aimed at that arrogant face. He caught her wrist mid-swing. Once, he said softly, I'll allow once, because you're scared and angry and this is new. His grip tightened just enough to make her gasp. But only once, Sky. Am I clear? She tried to pull away. He held firm. Am I clear? Crystal. He released her. Sky cradled her wrist, feeling the phantom heat of his fingers. Sit down, Romelo said. I'll stand. You'll faint again. You haven't eaten since the gala. That was 8 hours ago. He moved to a bar cart, poured water into Crystal. Drink this. I don't want anything from you. You want answers. Drink, and I'll give them to you. Sky stared at the offered glass. Her throat was sandpaper dry. Her head pounded. And damn him, he was right. Her legs were starting to shake. She took the water, drained it in 3 long swallows. Sit, he said again. This time, Sky sank into the leather chair. Not surrender, strategic retreat. Romelo settled on the edge of his desk, arms crossed. Ask. Why me? Because your father made you collateral 20 years ago. The day you were born, actually. He said it like discussing the weather. He needed capital to expand his textile business. My father provided it. $5 million interest-free. The terms were simple: build the empire, and when the time came, provide either $50 million in repayment or his firstborn daughter. Sky's vision blurred. That's insane. That's business. I'm not business. I'm a person. You're an asset. Romelo's expression didn't change. In my world, the two are often the same. Your world is sick. My world is honest. He poured himself a scotch, didn't drink it. We don't hide behind contracts and corporate speak. When we make a deal, we honor it. Blood for blood, debt for debt. My father wouldn't, Sky's voice broke. He wouldn't do that. Wouldn't he? Romelo pulled out his phone, pulled up a document, turned the screen toward her. Sky's hands trembled as she took it. The contract was dated 25 years ago. Her father's signature at the bottom, bold and unmistakable. And the terms: in the event of non-payment, the debtor agrees to provide his firstborn child as collateral to the Castelli family for a period not to exceed the time required to settle the debt in full. No, the phone slipped from her fingers. No, it's not legal. It's a blood contract. Legality is irrelevant. Romelo retrieved his phone. Your father knew the terms. He accepted them. And 3 weeks ago, when my father died and I inherited the debt I came to collect. 3 weeks. Sky's mind raced. He's known for 3 weeks. He's known for 25 years. The room spun. Every birthday, Romelo continued merciless. Every Christmas, every graduation he knew. He knew that one day I'd come for you, and he prepared you for exactly nothing. Sky pressed her palms to her eyes. I'm going to be sick. Bathroom's through there, he pointed. She barely made it before her stomach revolted. The elegant dinner she'd eaten at the gala came back up along with the water she'd just drunk. Sky knelt on cold marble, shaking while her entire reality crumbled. A warm hand touched her back. She flinched away. Don't touch me. Romelo withdrew, but he didn't leave. He stood in the doorway, watching her fall apart with those unreadable dark eyes. Why now? Sky asked hoarsely. Why tonight? Your 25th birthday is in 3 days. The contract activates then. He handed her a towel. I wanted you settled before the official transfer. Transfer? She wanted to laugh or cry or both. Like I'm a piece of furniture. Like you're valuable. His jaw tightened. There are people who would kill to get leverage over my family. As long as you're here under my protection, you're safe. Safe. Sky stood on shaking legs. You kidnapped me. I'm protecting you. The crack in his composure startled them both. Romelo exhaled hard, ran a hand through his dark hair. Your father has enemies, people who'd use you to hurt him. Here with me, you're untouchable. I don't believe you. I don't care if you believe me. It's true. He stepped closer and Sky backed against the sink. Sky, I'm not the villain in this soldering. Your father is. He made a deal he couldn't keep and offered you as insurance. I'm just honoring that deal. By holding me prisoner. By keeping you alive. The intensity in his voice made her breath catch. If I wanted to hurt you, Romelo said quietly, I've had 8 hours to do it. You've been unconscious in my car, in my arms, in my home. I could have done anything. His eyes held hers, but you woke up unharmed, clothed, in a locked room with a bathroom and food and every comfort I could provide. Except freedom. Except that, he agreed, because freedom right now would get you killed. Sky's laugh was broken. By who? By the families my father crossed to protect yours. By the organizations that want the Castelli empire. By anyone who sees a weak point and decides to exploit it. Romelo's voice hardened. You think your father's enemies will play nice? You think they'll negotiate? I think you're lying to justify kidnapping. Think what you want. He turned away. But you're staying here until the debt is paid. That's non-negotiable. And if my father pays, then you go home. Romelo glanced back. Free and clear. No strings. You expect me to believe that. I expect you to survive long enough to find out. The words hung between them like a threat. Sky pushed past him back into the study. Her phone, she needed her phone. Looking for this, Romelo held up her evening clutch. She grabbed for it. He lifted it higher. Romelo, one call, he said, to your father, supervised. You don't tell him where you are. You don't mention my name. You confirm you're safe. That's it. That's not, those are the terms. He lowered the clutch, held it out. Take it or even into it. Sky snatched it from his hand, pulled out her phone. 15% battery and 43 missed calls from her mother. She dialed her father. He answered on the first ring. Sky, is it true? Her voice shook. Did you sell me? Silence. Dad, answer me. Where are you? His voice was strange, tight. Sky, where did he take you? Answer my question. I didn't sell you. I gave you as collateral. There's a difference. Sky's knees buckled. Romelo caught her elbow, steadied her. How could you? The words scraped out of her. How could you do this to me? I didn't have a choice. Her father's shout crackled through the phone. They would have killed us both, at least this way. This way, I'm a prisoner. You're alive. He was crying now. Sky had never heard her father cry. Baby, you're alive. That's all that matters. It matters to you because you're safe. Sky jerked away from Romelo's steadying hand. I'm the one locked in a stranger's house. I'm the one being held for $50 million you don't have. I'm getting the money, liar. The The scream tore out of her. You've had 25 years to get the money and you didn't. You waited until they came for me. Sky, please. Did Mom know? The pause was damning. Did she know? Sky repeated, ice in her voice now. I told her last week. I had to. Last week. Sky laughed, the sound hollow. So everyone knew but me. Everyone knew I was merchandise, and nobody thought to mention it. You weren't supposed to find out like this. How was I supposed to find out on my wedding day? My 30th birthday, when Dad... I was going to pay before the deadline. I swear I was. But you didn't. Sky's vision blurred with tears. And now I'm here. And you know what the worst part is? Baby. He told me you'd pay. The man holding me hostage has more faith in you than I do. She wiped her eyes viciously. So prove him right. Pay the debt. Get me out of here. I will. I swear on your mother's life I will. You've got 30 days. Sky glanced at Romelo, who nodded confirmation. After that, I'll pay, her father said desperately. Sky, I love you. You have to believe that. I don't know what I believe anymore. She ended the call. The phone slipped from her fingers. This time she didn't pick it up. Well, Romelo said softly, now you know. Now I know my father's a coward who traded his daughter to save his skin. Sky's voice was hollow. Congratulations. You were right. I wish I wasn't. The sincerity in his tone made her look up. Romelo stood with his hands in his pockets, watching her with something that might have been sympathy. For what it's worth, I don't enjoy this. Could have fooled me. I'm honoring my father's contracts. That's what sons do. His jaw tightened. But I'm not him. I won't hurt you, Sky. You have my word. The word of a kidnapper. Forgive me if I don't frame it. Fair enough. He moved to the door, unlocked it. Your room is ready. Third door on the left. Maria left closed toiletries. Anything you need. I need to leave. Anything else you need, he corrected. Get some rest. We'll talk more in the morning. I have nothing to say to you. You will. Romelo paused in the doorway. One more thing. Don't try to escape. The estate has excellent security, and I'd hate for you to get hurt proving a point. Is that a threat? It's concern. He met her eyes. Believe it or not, I want you safe, even from yourself. Then he was gone. Sky stood in the empty study, surrounded by broken glass and the ruins of her old life. She should cry, scream, something. Instead, she felt numb. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. Please call me. I can explain everything. Sky deleted it without reading further. She walked to the third door on the left. The suite was exactly as Romelo had described, luxury magazine perfect, with her clutch already placed on the bed like an afterthought. Or a reminder. Sky locked the bathroom door, turned on the shower, and finally let herself break. She cried until her throat was raw, until the hot water ran cold, until there was nothing left inside her but hollow exhaustion. Then she dried off, put on the silk pajamas Maria had left, and collapsed into bed. Tomorrow she'd figure out a plan. Tomorrow she'd find a weakness in this prison. Tonight she just needed to survive. But as Sky drifted toward unconscious, one thought circled like a vulture. You're mine now, Romelo's voice, Romelo's words. And the terrifying part, some broken piece of her almost believed he'd keep her safe. Sky woke to silence, not peaceful silence, the heavy, oppressive quiet of a house holding its breath. She checked her phone, 3:47 a.m., and a new text from an unknown number. Don't trust him. Your father's lying. They both are. A friend. Sky stared at the screen until her eyes burned. Who sent this? How did they get her number? She typed back, Who are you? The response came instantly. Someone who knows what the Castellis really do. Someone who can help. Delete this conversation. They're watching. Sky's hand shook as she deleted the thread. Then she put the phone down and stared at the ceiling, her mind racing. What if Romelo was lying? What if her father was lying? What if everyone was lying and she was just a pawn in a game she didn't understand? Sky closed her eyes and made a promise to herself. She'd find the truth, whatever it took. Even if it destroyed everything she thought she knew. Especially then. Sky didn't go back to sleep. She lay in the dark staring at nothing, replaying that text message until the words burned into her brain. Don't trust him. Your father's lying. They both are. At 6 a.m., she gave up pretending and got out of bed. The clothes Maria had left were designer labels Sky recognized from magazines she'd never been able to afford. She chose black jeans and a gray sweater, something that felt like armor. The hallway outside was empty. Sky walked it slowly, memorizing every door, every window, every potential escape route. The mansion was massive, 3 floors at least, with wings that seemed to sprawl endlessly. She found the staircase and descended. Voices drifted from somewhere below. Male voices speaking rapid Italian. Sky followed the sound to a partially open door. She pressed herself against the wall and listened. Telling you it's a mistake. A voice she didn't recognize. Old or rough. The girl's a liability. She's collateral. Romelo. There's a difference. Collateral we can't afford. Her father's broke Romelo. The textile business is a shell. He's been laundering cartel money for years. Sky's breath caught. I know what he's been doing, Romelo said coldly. Then you know he can't pay $50 million. He doesn't have it. Then he'll find it. And if he doesn't, what do we do with her? Silence stretched so long, Sky thought they had heard her breathing. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Romelo said finally. That's not a plan. It's the only plan we have. A chair scraped. My father made this deal. I'm honoring it. End of discussion. Your father also made deals that got him killed. The words fell like a bomb. Watch yourself, Marco. Someone has to say it. Vittorio got soft in his old age, started thinking honor mattered more than survival. And look where it got him, a bullet in the chest and an empire falling apart. Get out. Romelo. I said get out. Footsteps. Sky barely made it around the corner before a stocky man in his 50s stormed past, muttering in Italian. She waited, hard hammering until his footsteps faded. Then she stepped into the doorway. Romelo stood at the window, hands braced against the frame, shoulders rigid. He'd heard her. She knew he had, but he didn't turn around. How much did you hear? He asked quietly. Enough. Sky's voice was steadier than she felt. My father's laundering cartel money. Among other things. And you knew. I've known for years. Romelo finally turned. He looked tired, she realized. Lines of stress bracketed his mouth. Your father's textile business is a front. Has been since the beginning. My father helped him set it up. Sky's legs felt weak. She gripped the door frame. Why? Because that's what we do. We provide infrastructure for people who need it. We take a percentage. Everyone profits. That's illegal? That's survival. Romelo moved to a sidebar, poured coffee. You want some? I want answers. You'll get them. Coffee first. He poured a second cup without waiting for her response. Sit down, Sky. I don't want to sit. Sit down. The command in his voice made her knees bend automatically. Sky found herself in a leather chair, accepting a coffee cup, hating how easily she obeyed. Romelo settled across from her. Your father came to mind 25 years ago. He had a business degree and big dreams and no capital. My father saw potential. He gave him $5 million to start. And took me as insurance? And took you as insurance, Romelo agreed. But that wasn't the end of it. Over the years, your father's business grew. He needed more money, more protection, more infrastructure. My father provided all of it. In exchange for what? Loyalty, silence, and a percentage of everything that moved through his operation. Romelo sipped his coffee. Your father's been washing cartel money for 15 years. Mexican cartels mostly. Some Colombian. He takes their cash, runs it through his textile imports, and pays them back clean money minus our cut. Sky felt sick. And my mother knows nothing. Your father kept her in the dark. Romelo's expression softened fractionally. He's not entirely heartless. He wanted to protect her. But not me. You were already leverage. Why protect what he'd already traded away? The casual cruelty of it made Sky want to scream. Instead, she took a long drink of coffee, letting the bitter heat ground her. That man who was just here, she said. Marco, he said your father was killed. Romelo's jaw tightened. 3 months ago, a rival family decided to make a move. And now you're in charge. Now I'm cleaning up his mistakes. He set down his cup, including deals that should never have been made. Like the one with my father. Especially that one. Sky studied him. You don't want me here. I don't want this whole mess. Romelo stood paced to the window. But I inherited it, so I'm dealing with it. Your father owes 50 million. He's going to pay it. And when he does, you go home, and we never see each other again. You really think he can pay? I think he'll find a way. Romelo glanced back. If he wants you back badly enough. The doubt in his voice mirrored her own. Sky set down her coffee. What if he doesn't? What happens to me? I told you, you work off the debt. Doing what? Romelo was quiet for a long moment. Then, we have legitimate businesses. Hotels, restaurants, import companies. You'd work in one of them. For how long? Until the debt is satisfied. That could be years. Yes. Sky's hands clenched in her lap. So either my father pays or I become your indentured servant. Those are the options. That's insane. That's reality. Romelo turned fully to face her. Sky, I'm not going to lie to you. Your situation is bad. But it could be worse. You could be with the families who'd actually hurt you, use you, sell you. And you're so much better. I'm keeping you alive and unharmed. So yes, I'm better. The arrogance should have made her furious. Instead, Sky felt something crack inside her chest. I want to see the contract, she said. What? The contract my father signed. I want to see all of it. Romelo studied her for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, and handed it to her. Sky took it with shaking hands. The document was long pages and pages of legal language that made her eyes blur. But certain phrases jumped out: firstborn child, collateral, period not to exceed time required for full repayment, asset transfer upon failure to pay. And at the bottom, her father's signature, bold and unmistakable and 25 years old. He signed this the day I was born, Sky whispered. The day after, Romelo corrected. He needed the money for hospital bills. Sky's laugh was broken. He sold me to pay for my own birth. He mortgaged your future to secure his. Same thing. Not quite. Romelo took back his phone. He gambled that he'd make enough money to pay back the debt before it came due. He lost that gamble. Sky stood abruptly. I need air. The gardens. I know. Stay within sight of the house. She was already moving toward the door. I heard you the first time. She didn't wait for his response. The morning air was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of roses and freshly cut grass. Sky walked until her lungs burned, until her legs ached, until the mansion was a distant shape behind her. A wall loomed ahead, 12 feet of brick and stone topped with cameras that tracked her movement. Sky stopped 5 feet from it and stared up. She could climb it, maybe, if she had rope or a ladder or superhuman upper body strength. I wouldn't recommend it. Sky spun. A woman stood on the path behind her, mid-30s, dark hair pulled into a ponytail, wearing running gear. She had the kind of lean, muscled build that said military training. Who are you? Sky demanded. Lucia, I handle security. The woman's smile was slight. And you're the girl who's got Romelo all twisted up. I'm the hostage. Tomato, tomato. Lucia moved closer, stopping a respectful distance away. For what it's worth, you've got more freedom than most. Is that supposed to make me feel better? It's supposed to give you perspective. Lucia nodded toward the wall. You could try to climb it. The cameras would alert us before you made it halfway up. Or you could trigger the motion sensors in the woods beyond and have 6 armed guards on you in 90 seconds. You've thought this through. It's my job. Lucia's expression softened. Look, I get it. You're scared and angry, and this whole situation is garbage. But Romelo's not lying about the danger. There are people who'd kill to get their hands on Castelli collateral. So everyone keeps telling me, because it's true. Lucia pulled out a phone, showed Sky a photo. A woman, early 20s, pretty, or she had been before someone had beaten her face into hamburger. Sky's stomach lurched. What? Juliana Moretti, daughter of a family that owed us money. Lucia's voice was flat. Her father couldn't pay. A rival family grabbed her, thinking they could use her as leverage. They sent him pieces of her until he came up with the cash. Sky pressed a hand to her mouth. That's the world Romelo's protecting you from, Lucia said quietly. So yeah, you're trapped here, but you're alive and whole and safe. Count your blessings. She walked away before Sky could respond. Sky stood alone by the wall, her mind reeling. Was everyone in on this? Were they all reading from the same script? You should be grateful you could have it worse. We're keeping you safe. Or were they telling the truth? Sky didn't know anymore. She walked back to the mansion slowly, her thoughts churning. Maria was in the kitchen when Sky entered a massive space of stainless steel and marble that could have served a restaurant. "You're up early," Maria said, kneading dough with practiced hands. "Couldn't sleep." "Understandable." Maria shaped the dough into a ball. "Hungry?" "Not really." "You should eat anyway. Keep your strength up." Maria pulled ingredients from the fridge. "Omelet, pancakes." "Whatever's easiest." Maria began cracking eggs. "You met Lucia." It wasn't a question. "She showed me a picture," Sky said, "of a girl who was tortured." "Juliana." Maria's expression darkened. "Poor child. She was only 23. Did she survive?" "Eventually, probably, but she's not the same." Maria whisked the eggs viciously. "That's what happens in our world. You think the rules don't apply, and then reality hits you like a freight train. Your world is sick. Our world is honest." Maria poured eggs into a hot pan. "We don't pretend violence doesn't exist. We don't hide behind laws that only protect the rich. We survive. By kidnapping people, by honoring debts." Maria flipped the omelet with sharp efficiency. "Your father made a deal. Romelo's honoring it. That's more integrity than you'll find in any boardroom or courtroom. He's still holding me prisoner. He's keeping you alive." Maria slid the omelet onto a plate, set it in front of Sky. "Eat, you look pale." Sky picked up a fork mechanically. The food was delicious. She barely tasted it. "Can I ask you something?" she said after a moment. "Of course." "How long have you worked for the Castellis?" 32 years. I started when Romelo was 3 years old." Sky looked up. "You raised him." "His mother died giving birth. His father was not equipped for childcare." Maria's smile was sad. "So yes, I raised him." "Then you know him better than anyone." "I know him well enough." "Is he lying to me about any of this?" Maria was quiet, wiping down the counter with slow, deliberate strokes. "Maria, please." "Romelo doesn't lie," Maria said finally. "He might omit, he might misdirect, but he doesn't lie. It's the one rule his father taught him that he actually followed." "What about the other rules?" "Those he broke." Maria's expression turned thoughtful. "Vittorio wanted Romelo to be ruthless, cold, a proper don who ruled through fear. But Romelo, he's different. He has honor, principles. It made his father furious." "So what happened?" "They fought, constantly, about how to run the business, how to treat people, everything." Maria's voice dropped. 3 months ago, that fight went too far. Vittorio made a deal Romelo couldn't stomach. They argued. Vittorio stormed out. And got killed." "And got killed," Maria confirmed, "by people who had been waiting for him to be alone and angry and careless." Sky set down her fork. "Romelo blames himself." "Of course he does. He's been trying to fix his father's mistakes ever since." Maria met her eyes. "Including you." "I'm a mistake. You're a complication in a deal that should never have been made." Maria's expression softened. "But you're here now, and Romelo will protect you whether you believe it or not. Because of honor. Because that's who he is." Sky wanted to argue, wanted to insist that keeping someone prisoner wasn't protection, it was control. But looking at Maria's face, the certainty there, the conviction, she couldn't find the words. "I should go," Sky said, standing. "Where?" "I don't know, somewhere that's not here. The library's on the 2nd floor, East Wing." Maria smiled slightly. "Romelo's grandfather collected rare books, first editions, manuscripts, things you can't find anywhere else." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you look like you need to escape. And since you can't leave physically," Maria gestured upward, "might as well escape mentally." Sky found herself smiling despite everything. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet. You haven't seen the dust." The library was exactly as promised, floor-to-ceiling shelves, rolling ladders, leather chairs worn soft with age. And books, thousands of them. Sky ran her fingers along spines, reading titles in English, Italian, French. First edition Hemingway, an annotated Dante's Inferno, what looked like an original Shakespeare folio behind glass. "My grandfather spent 40 years building this collection." Sky didn't turn around. Does everyone in this house just sneak up on people? Only when they're trespassing in private libraries. Romelo's footsteps were soft on carpet. Maria sent you. She thought I needed an escape. Did it work? I've been here 3 minutes. Ask me in an hour. Sky pulled a book at random. Jane Eyre. Can I read this? You can do anything you want in this house, except leave. How generous. Romelo moved to stand beside her close enough that she could feel his body heat. I'm sorry. Sky froze. What? I'm sorry for all of this. It's not how I wanted things to go. How did you want them to go? I wanted your father to pay before it came to this. I wanted... He stopped, jaw tight. It doesn't matter what I wanted. This is what we have. Sky turned to look at him. Really look. He was younger than she'd initially thought, early 30s maybe, and tired. The kind of tired that came from carrying weight too heavy for one person. Your father, she said quietly. Maria told me what happened. Romelo's expression closed. Maria talks too much. She cares about you. She worries. Different thing. He took the book from Sky's hands, examined the cover. Jane Eyre, good choice. I haven't read it since high school. Then you're overdue. He handed it back. Keep it as long as you need. I'll try not to escape between the pages. If you manage that, I'll be impressed. They stood in silence, surrounded by books and dust motes dancing in morning light. It should have been awkward. Instead, it felt almost comfortable. Sky broke first. I got a text last night. Romelo went very still. From who? I don't know. An unknown number. She pulled out her phone, pulled up the deleted conversation. They said not to trust you, that you and my father are both lying. Romelo took the phone, his expression darkening as he read. When did this come? 3:47 a.m. And you deleted it. They told me to, said you were watching. I am. Romelo handed back the phone, Bigot. But not like that. I'm not monitoring your messages. Should I believe you? Probably not, but it's true. He pulled out his own phone, typed rapidly. I need to trace this number. Find out who's contacting you. Why? What if they're trying to help? No one helps for free, Sky, especially not in my world. Romelo's jaw tightened. Someone's playing a game. I need to know who and why. Maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe they're trying to get you killed. He met her eyes. Don't respond if they contact you again. Come to me first. So I should trust you instead? You should trust that I have more to lose if something happens to you. Sky's laugh was bitter. Because I'm valuable collateral. Because you're... Romelo stopped, something flickering across his face. Yes, because you're a collateral. But Sky heard the hesitation. The almost confession. What were you going to say? She pressed. Nothing, forget it. Romelo was already walking away. Stay in the library as long as you want. I have calls to make. He was gone before Sky could respond. She stood alone among the books, her mind spinning. Because you're what? What had he almost said? Sky shook her head and settled into a leather chair with Jane Eyre. She'd figure it out eventually. She had nothing but time. Ta-dum. 3 hours later, Sky was halfway through the novel when her phone buzzed. Another text from the unknown number. Ask Romelo about the girl before you, the one who didn't survive. Sky's blood turned to ice. She stared at the screen until the words blurred. The one who didn't survive. What did that mean? Sky stood the book falling from her lap and went to find Romelo. She found him in his study, surrounded by papers and computer screens, looking like he hadn't moved in hours. There was another girl, Sky said without preamble. Romelo's head snapped up. What? Sky held up her phone. They texted again, said I should ask you about the girl before me, the one who didn't survive. Romelo's face went pale. Then he stood, moved to the door and locked it. Sit down, he said quietly. Romelo, sit. Down. Sky sat. Romelo poured himself scotch with shaking hands, drank it in one swallow, poured another. 5 years ago, he said, his voice hollow, my father made a similar deal. A businessman who owed money offered his daughter as collateral. She was 19. Name was Isabella. Sky's heart hammered. What happened? She was here for 3 weeks. Then one night she tried to escape. Romelo's knuckles were white around the glass. The security team caught her at the wall. She panicked, ran into the woods, triggered every alarm we had. And And in the chaos, a rival family's scouts were nearby. They saw an opportunity. Romelo's voice cracked. They grabbed her before we could get there. By the time we found her, he stopped. Sky felt sick. Romelo they sent her back in pieces, he whispered, to punish my father for letting her slip through our fingers, to send a message. The room spun. I was 27. Romelo continued staring at nothing. Fresh back from Harvard, thinking I could change how we did business, make things more civilized. His laugh was broken. Isabella died because I convinced my father to give her more freedom, because I thought being kind mattered more than being careful. Sky couldn't breathe. That's why you won't let me leave. That's why I'll shoot you myself before I let you set foot outside these walls. Romelo met her eyes, and the raw pain there made her chest ache. I won't make that mistake again. But you're not your father. No, I'm worse, because I know what can happen and I'm doing it anyway. He set down the glass. Your father's debt is real. The danger is real. And if I have to keep you locked in this house for a year to ensure you don't end up like Isabella, I will. Even if I hate you for it. Especially then, Romelo's voice was steel. I can live with your hate. I can't live with your death. Sky stood on shaking legs. Who's texting me? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Romelo pulled out his phone. In the meantime, you don't go anywhere alone. Lucia will be with you at all times. I don't need a babysitter. You need protection. You're getting it. End of discussion. Sky wanted to argue, but looking at Romelo's face, the guilt and fear and determination carved into every line, she couldn't. Okay, she said softly. Romelo blinked. Okay. I'll accept Lucia's protection. For now. Sky moved toward the door. But Romelo, and I'm not Isabella, and I'm not going to die because of my father's mistakes. No, Romelo agreed quietly. You're not. Sky left before he could see her hands shaking, before he could see how terrified she really was. Because whoever was texting her knew things, secret things, dangerous things. And Sky had a horrible feeling this was only the beginning. Lucia appeared within 10 minutes. Sky was still in the hallway outside Romelo's study trying to calm her racing heart when the security chief materialized like a shadow. You rang. Lucia's tone was dry. I didn't. Sky stopped. Romelo sent you. Romelo ordered me to stick to you like glue until we figure out who's playing games. Lucia crossed her arms. So where are we going? I don't know. Back to my room, the library. Sky's voice climbed. Does it matter? I'm trapped either way. You're protected. Big difference. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true. Lucia's expression softened fractionally. Look, I know this sucks, but whoever's texting you knows things they shouldn't. That makes them dangerous. Sky pulled out her phone, showed Lucia the messages. Lucia's face went hard. Son of a bitch. You know who it is. No, but I know what they're doing. Lucia handed back the phone. They're trying to make you paranoid, turn you against Romelo, make you do something stupid. Like what? Like run, like trust the wrong person, like get yourself killed. Lucia's voice was flat. Classic infiltration tactic. I've seen it 100 times. Sky's stomach twisted. What if they're telling the truth? About what? That Romelo's lying. Hey, Lucia laughed without humor. Sky Romelo's the most brutally honest person I've ever met. It's actually annoying. He won't even tell white lies to make people comfortable. But Isabella Pello was a tragedy, one that haunts him every single day. Lucia's eyes bored into hers. You think he wants to repeat that? You think he's keeping you locked up for fun? No buts. Romelo would rather cut off his own hand than let you get hurt. Lucia's voice dropped. I've worked for this family for 8 years. I've seen a lot of bad men do a lot of bad things. Romelo's not one of them. Sky wanted to believe her. God, she wanted to believe her. But the text kept circling in her mind. They're both lying, the girl who didn't survive. I need to call my father, Sky said abruptly. Why? Because I need to hear him say it. That he really can't pay. That this is really happening. Sky was already moving toward her room. I need to know if he's even trying. Lucia followed. Romelo won't like it. I don't care what Romelo likes. Sky found her phone charger plugged in her dying phone and dialed. Her father answered on the 4th ring. Sky, thank God. Are you trying? Sky cut him off. To get the money. Are you actually trying? Silence. Dad, answer me. I'm liquidating assets. Calling in favors. But 50 million, his voice cracked. Baby, I don't have that kind of liquidity. Then get it? I'm trying, but these things take time. I don't have time. Sky's shout echoed off marble. Every day I'm here, I'm in danger. Do you understand that? Of course I understand. No, you don't. Tears burned her eyes. There was a girl before me, Isabella. She tried to escape and they killed her, tortured her, sent her back in pieces. Her father's breathing went ragged. Romelo told you that? He told me everything about your laundering business, about the cartels, about how you've been lying to me for 25 years. Sky's voice broke. Who are you? Because you're not the father I thought I knew. I'm the man who kept you safe. You put me in danger. Sky was crying now, couldn't stop. You sold me to criminals and told yourself it was protection. You're a coward and a liar, and I... The line went dead. Sky stared at the screen. He'd hung up on her. Her own father had hung up on her. She hurled the phone at the wall. It exploded into pieces, screen is shattering, battery flying. Feel better? Lucia asked mildly. No. Sky slid down the wall, buried her face in her hands. I feel like my entire life was a lie. Lucia was quiet for a moment. Then she sat down beside Sky on the floor. My father sold me too, Lucia said quietly. Sky's head snapped up. What? Not to the Castellis? To the Morettis? I was 16. My father owed gambling debts he couldn't pay, so he offered me as a maid. Lucia's smile was bitter. Except the Morettis don't keep maids. They keep toys. Sky's breath caught. Lucia. I was there for 3 months before Romelo found out. He was 24, just starting to take over parts of the business. When he heard what was happening, Lucia's voice went hard. He showed up with 10 men and pulled me out himself. Nearly started a war over it. Why? Because he has this stupid, stubborn code about protecting people who can't protect themselves. Lucia met her eyes. The Morettis wanted blood. Romelo paid them triple what my father owed just to keep the peace. Then he hired me, trained me, gave me a life. Sky's throat was tight. Your father hasn't spoken to me in 8 years. I don't care. Lucia stood, offered a hand. Point is, I know what it's like to be sold, and I know the difference between a captor and a protector. Romelo's the latter. Sky took her hand, let Lucia pull her up. He's still keeping me prisoner. He's keeping you alive. Lucia bent, started picking up pieces of the shattered phone. There's a difference, even if you can't see it yet. A knock on the door made them both turn. Maria stood in the doorway, her face grave. Romelo needs you both, now. Sky's stomach dropped. What happened? Someone just tried to breach the north wall. They ran. Lucia had a gun in her hand before Sky could blink, leading the way down the hall at a sprint. Sky followed, her heart in her throat. Romelo was in the security room, a space Sky hadn't known existed, all monitors and computers and men in tactical gear. He stood at the center console, his face like granite. Show me again, he ordered. One of the security team rewound footage. Sky watched a figure in black scale the north wall with professional efficiency. They made it to the top, hesitated at the cameras, then dropped back down and disappeared into the woods. They were testing our response time, Lucia said immediately, or sending a message. Romelo's jaw was tight. How long from breach to alarm? 43 seconds. Too slow. I want it under 30. Romelo turned to another screen. Pull up thermal imaging. See if they're still out there. The screen flickered, showed heat signatures in the woods. At least 6 people spread out in a perimeter pattern. They're watching us, Sky whispered. They're planning something in. Romelo's hand clenched on the console. Marco, the older man from that morning, appeared. Boss, I want patrols doubled, guards on every entrance, and someone get me satellite imagery of the surrounding area. I want to know who's out there. On it. Marco barked orders in Italian, and the room erupted into controlled chaos. Romelo finally looked at Sky. You okay? Am I okay? Sky's laugh was half hysteria. There are people outside your walls planning God knows what, and you're asking if I'm okay. Yes. The simple certainty in his voice steadied her somehow. I'm fine, Sky said, terrified but fine. Good. Romelo touched her elbow, guided her toward a corner. I need you to listen carefully. If something happens, if we're breached, Lucia will get you to the safe room. You follow her instructions without question. Understand what's going to happen. Hopefully nothing, but we prepare for worst case. His dark eyes held hers. Sky, I mean it. If Lucia tells you to run, you run. If she tells you to hide, you hide. You don't argue, you don't hesitate. Your life depends on it. Sky's mouth was dry. You're scaring me. Good, you should be scared. Romelo's voice dropped. Someone out there wants you, and they're willing to challenge my family to get you. That means this is serious. Who would want me? Rival families, cartels, anyone who sees leverage in Castelli collateral. Romelo's hand moved to her shoulder, squeezed once. But they won't get you, I promise. You can't promise that. Watch me. He turned back to the monitors. Lucia, take her to the safe room. Show her the protocols. Wait, Sky grabbed his arm. What are you going to do? My job. Romelo's smile was sharp, predatory. I'm going to remind everyone why you don't fuck with the Castellis. Lucia pulled Sky away before she could respond. The safe room was in the basement, a reinforced steel door hidden behind a wine rack that swung open at Lucia's touch. Inside was a room the size of Sky's apartment back home, stocked with food, water, medical supplies, and enough weapons to outfit a small army. Jesus, Sky breathed. Welcome to Paranoia Central. Lucia began pointing out features. Reinforced walls, independent air supply, satellite phone, emergency exit tunnel that leads 3 miles into the woods. You've thought of everything. Romelo's father thought of everything. Romelo just improved it. Lucia handed Sky a phone. You know how to use one of these? It's a phone. It's a satellite phone, different animal. Lucia showed her the buttons. Red button calls emergency services. Green button calls Romelo directly. Blue button triggers a distress beacon that alerts every Castelli asset within 100 miles. Sky's hand shook as she took it. This is insane. This is survival. Lucia pulled out a handgun, checked the magazine. You know how to shoot. What, no? Then you're learning. Now, Lucia handed her the gun. Safety's here. Grip it like this. Aim for center mass. Squeeze, don't pull. Sky held the weapon like it might bite her. I can't. You can, you will, because if someone gets past me and Romelo and every other guard in this house, you're the last line of defense. Lucia's voice was steel. So you're going to learn to shoot, and you're going to learn right now. They spent the next hour in the safe room's shooting range, a narrow space with paper targets and soundproofing. Lucia drilled her relentlessly stance, grip, trigger control, magazine changes. Sky's ears rang despite the protection. Her hands ached, but by the end she could hit the target more often than not. Not bad for a beginner, Lucia said, taking back the gun. You've got decent instincts. I've got terror-fueled adrenaline. Same thing in our world. Lucia holstered the weapon. Come on, let's see if World War III has started yet. They found Romelo in his study on the phone, speaking rapid Italian. He looked up when they entered, gestured for them to sit. I don't care what it costs. I want every inch of that property line monitored. Yes, thermal and visual. And Marco, if anyone crosses onto our land, I want them alive. We need to know who sent them. He listened for a moment. Good. Call me when it's done. He hung up, scrubbed a hand down his face. What's happening? Sky asked. We've identified the Watchers. Mexican cartel scouts. Same organization your fathers have been laundering for. Romelo's expression was grim. They think you're leverage against both our families. Sky's blood turned to ice. They want to kidnap me. They want to use you against your father to ensure he keeps laundering, against me to gain a foothold in our territory. Romelo stood, paced to the window. It's actually brilliant in a psychotic way. How is this brilliant? If they grab you, your father has to keep working for them or they kill you. And I have to negotiate with them or lose face as someone who couldn't protect his own collateral. Romelo's laugh was bitter. They get leverage over both families with one move. So what do? We make it impossible for them to get you. Romelo turned back. Which means you don't leave this house. Not for any reason. Not the gardens, not the library, nothing. You stay inside where we can control every access point. Sky stood. For how long? Until we eliminate the threat. That could be weeks. Better locked inside for weeks than dead in days. Romelo's voice hardened. This isn't negotiable, Sky. The minute those scouts reported your presence here, you became a target. Every cartel in a 3-state radius now knows a Castelli has valuable collateral. Sky's legs felt weak. She sat back down. My father did this. Your father's been doing this for 15 years. It was bound to catch up eventually. Romelo moved to the bar cart, poured 3 glasses of wine, handed one to Sky, one to Lucia. The question is what we do about it. We could give them what they want, Sky said quietly. Romelo froze. Excuse me? Me. You could give them me. Sky's voice was steady despite her shaking hands. End this standoff. Eliminate the threat to your family. Absolutely not. Why not? I'm just collateral. You said so yourself. You're under my protection. Romelo's shout made both women jump. I don't hand over people under my protection. Not to cartels, not to rival families, not to God himself. But if it would save... No, he slammed his glass down hard enough to crack it. No, end of discussion. You're staying here, you're staying safe, and anyone who tries to take you will regret it for the short remainder of their life. The fury in his voice should have scared her. Instead, Sky felt something warm bloom in her chest. He meant it. He really meant it. Okay, she whispered. Romelo blinked. Okay. I'll stay inside. Follow the rules, whatever you need. Sky met his eyes. But Romelo, I'm trusting you. Don't make me regret it. Something flickered across his face, relief maybe, or something deeper. You won't, he said quietly. Lucia cleared her throat. Hate to interrupt this touching moment, but we have a problem. What now? Lucia pulled out her phone, showed them a news headline. Local businessman reported missing. Foul play suspected. Sky leaned forward. The photo showed her father. What? Sky grabbed the phone. Missing since when? Articles dated 3 hours ago. His office reported him missing this morning when he didn't show for a board meeting. Lucia's expression was grim. Sky, when's the last time you talked to him? This afternoon. He hung up on me. Sky's hands were shaking. You don't think... I think the cartels just made their move, Romelo said, and instead of grabbing you, they grabbed your father. Sky couldn't breathe. We have to find him. We will. Romelo was already on his phone. Marco, I need every asset we have on the street. Find Thomas Brennan, alive. I don't care what it costs. He listened. Yes, I know it's risky. Do it anyway. He hung up, turned to Sky. We'll find him. What if we don't? What if they've already? Sky couldn't finish the sentence. Then we make them pay. Romelo's voice was cold steel. But we're not there yet. Your father's worth more alive than dead to them. How can you be sure? Because they need his cooperation, his business infrastructure, his contacts. Romelo moved closer, his presence somehow steadying. They'll keep him alive to leverage his cooperation, which gives us time. Sky wanted to believe him, but her mind kept conjuring images of her father bound, beaten, terrified. Whatever he'd done, whatever lies he'd told, he was still her father. I need to help, Sky said. You are helping. By staying here, staying safe, you're removing one piece from their board. Romelo's hand touched her shoulder. Let me handle this. I can't just sit here. Yes, you can, because if you go out there, you give them exactly what they want. His grip tightened. Sky, I know you're scared, but your father would want you safe. That's why he made this deal in the first place. He made this deal to save himself. He made this deal because he knew the Castellis would protect you when he couldn't. Romelo's voice softened. I'm not saying he's a good man, but he's not stupid. He knew that putting you under our protection was the safest option. Sky's eyes burned. Even if it meant losing me. Even then, she turned away before he could see her cry. I need to be alone. Sky, please. Her voice broke. Just give me an hour. I need to think. Romelo was quiet for a long moment. Then Lucia stays outside your door. Fine. And if you get another text, you tell me immediately. Fine. Sky, he caught her hand, turned her back to face him. We'll get him back, I promise. Sky looked at their joined hands, then up at his face, the certainty there, the determination. Why do you care? She asked. He's nothing to you. I'm nothing to you. Why are you doing this? Romelo's thumb traced her knuckles. You're not nothing. I'm collateral. He stopped, jaw tight, then go. Rest. We'll talk later. He released her hand and turned away. Sky left before she could ask what he'd almost said. Again. In her room, Sky collapsed onto the bed and let herself break. Her father was missing, probably being tortured by the same cartels he'd been helping for 15 years. And she was trapped in a mansion protected by a man she couldn't decide if she trusted or feared or something else entirely. Her phone, the replacement Romelo had given her earlier, buzzed. Unknown number. Your father's in a warehouse on the East Docks, Pier 47. They were waiting for Romelo to come negotiate. It's a trap. Sky stared at the screen. Then tell him alone, no backup, or they kill your father and you never leave that house alive. Sky's hands shook as she screenshot the messages. She should tell Romelo. That was the smart move, the safe move. But what if this was the trap? What if telling Romelo was exactly what they wanted? Another text, you have 1 hour to decide. After that, your father dies. Choose wisely. Sky pressed her palms to her eyes. 1 hour. 1 hour to decide if she trusted the man holding her captive or the mysterious person who kept texting her warnings. 1 hour to decide her father's fate. Sky looked at the locked door. Lucia was outside, armed and alert. Getting out wouldn't be easy, but staying put while her father was tortured, that was impossible. Sky stood, moved to the window. The grounds were dark now, patrolled by guards with flashlights and dogs. But there was a drainage pipe running down from her bathroom, and the wall, while high, had footholds if you knew where to look. She'd seen them that morning, memorized them without even realizing. Sky pulled on dark clothes, laced up her sneakers, and made a decision. She was getting out. She was saving her father. And if Romelo Castelli tried to stop her, she'd deal with that when it happened. Sky opened her bathroom window as quietly as possible, swung her leg over the sill, and started to climb. Sky made it 3 feet down the drain pipe before a hand closed around her ankle. She screamed, lost her grip, and would have fallen if strong arms hadn't caught her. Romelo. He hauled her back through the window with terrifying ease, dumping her onto the bathroom floor. His face was carved from stone. Are you insane? His voice was deadly quiet. Sky scrambled backward. How did you? Motion sensors. The window triggered an alert the second you opened it. Romelo loomed over her, radiating fury. Okay, what the hell were you thinking? My father is bait in a trap. Romelo grabbed her phone from her pocket, read the messages. His expression went volcanic. And you were going to walk right into it. I have to save him. You have to stay alive. He hauled her to her feet, his grip bruising. Sky, why would someone tell you exactly where your father is? Why give you this information for free? Because they want to help. Because they want you. Romelo shook her once hard. This is kidnapping 101. Make you panic, make you desperate, make you do something stupid, and you almost did. Sky's eyes burned. He's my father. He's collateral for their plan, and you almost became collateral too. Romelo released her, paced the small bathroom like a caged animal. Pier 47, East Docks, it's cartel territory. You would have been grabbed the second you stepped foot there. So what do? Just let them kill him? We plan. We strategize. We don't go running into obvious traps because some anonymous number told us to. Romelo pulled out his phone. Marco, I need satellite coverage of the East Docks, specifically Pier 47. He listened. I don't care if it's cartel territory. Find a way. He hung up, turned back to Sky. You're grounded. I'm already a prisoner. Now you're a prisoner who doesn't get bathroom privacy. Romelo grabbed her arm, marched her back into the bedroom. Lucia. The door burst open. Lucia took one look at Sky's guilty face and Romelo's fury inside. She tried to run. Out of the bathroom window, like I'm an idiot who doesn't monitor every exit point. Romelo shoved Sky toward the bed. Sit. Don't move. Don't even breathe wrong. Sky sat, tears streaming down her face. You don't understand. I understand you almost got yourself killed. Romelo's shout echoed off walls. I understand you were about to throw away every protection I've given you because you got a text message. My father could be dying. Your father is already dead if this is real. The words landed like a slap. Romelo's chest heaved. Sky, they don't take prisoners to negotiate. They take prisoners to send messages. If your father's at that warehouse, he's either already gone or he's being used as bait. Either way, you running there changes nothing except getting you captured too. Sky buried her face in her hands. I can't just sit here. Yes, you can, because I'm going to get him. Romelo's voice softened fractionally. But I'm doing it smart, with backup, with a plan. What if there's no time for a plan? Then we make time. Romelo crouched in front of her, forced her to meet his eyes. Sky, I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Sky wanted to say no. Wanted to scream that trusting him had gotten her exactly nowhere. But looking at his face, the determination there, the fear underneath the anger, she found herself nodding. Okay, she whispered. Okay. Romelo stood. Lucia, she doesn't leave your sight. You go to the bathroom together if you have to. Got it. Lucia moved to stand beside Sky. For what it's worth, that was a really stupid plan. I know. Sky wiped her eyes. But he's my father. And you're Romelo's responsibility, which means you stay alive even if your father doesn't. Lucia's voice was matter-of-fact. That's how this works. Romelo's phone rang. He answered immediately. Talk to me. His expression darkened. You're sure both of them? He closed his eyes. Fuck, okay. Send me the coordinates, and Marco, get our best team ready. Full tactical gear. He hung up, and the look on his face made Sky's stomach drop. What? She asked. The warehouse at Pier 47 is real. Thermal imaging shows 2 heat signatures inside. One stationary, likely bound. The other's mobile, a guard maybe. Romelo's jaw was tight. But Sky, there are 12 heat signatures surrounding the building. It's an ambush point. Sky's breath caught. My father's really there. Someone's there. Could be your father, could be a decoy. Romelo ran a hand through his hair. Either way, it's a trap designed to draw us out. So we're not going... I didn't say that. Romelo's smile was sharp, dangerous. I said it's a trap. I didn't say I wasn't going to spring it. That's insane. That's strategy. Romelo moved to the door. Lucia, keep her here. I'll be back in 4 hours. Wait, Sky jumped up. You can't go alone. I'm not going alone. I'm taking a team. Romelo paused in the doorway. But I am going, because if there's even a chance your father's alive, I'm getting him out. Why? Sky's voice broke. Why do you care? Romelo looked at her for a long moment. Because you care, and that's enough. Then he was gone. Sky stood frozen, Lucia's hand on her shoulder, the only thing keeping her grounded. He's going to get himself killed, Sky whispered. Probably. Lucia guided her back to the bed. But he's going to get your father out first. That's how Romelo works. This is my fault. This is your father's fault, and the cartel's fault, and the fault of every person who's made bad decisions that led to this moment. Lucia sat beside her. But it's not your fault. You're just collateral damage. I hate that word. Yeah, me too. Lucia pulled out her phone, pulled up a screen showing multiple camera feeds. But we're going to sit here, watch these monitors, and pray Romelo's as good as he thinks he is. Sky watched Romelo's figure on one of the screens as he strode through the mansion, gathering men giving orders. He moved with absolute confidence, like walking into an ambush was just another Tuesday. Has he always been like this? Sky asked. Like what? Reckless, stupidly brave. Lucia snorted. Since the day I met him. When he pulled me out of the Moretti house, he was outnumbered 3-1. Didn't matter. He walked in like he owned the place, put a gun to Don Moretti's head, and demanded my release. That's insane. That's Romelo. Lucia's expression softened. He's got this code, this stupid, inflexible code about protecting people. It's going to get him killed someday. But not today, Sky said, surprising herself. No, we had to. Lucia's voice was firm. Not today. They watched the screens in silence as Romelo's team assembled. 10 men, all armed, all moving with military precision. They loaded into 3 black SUVs and disappeared into the night. Sky's hands twisted in her lap. How long? 40 minutes to the docks, hour to breach and extract, 40 minutes back. Lucia checked her watch. 2 hours, 20 minutes, give or take. 2 hours, 20 minutes to find out if her father lived or died. Sky thought she might throw up. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, smart boy, but not smart enough. We'll be waiting. Sky showed Lucia, who immediately forwarded it to Romelo. His response came instantly. I know. That's the point. What does that mean? Sky demanded. It means he's got a plan. Lucia's smile was grim. And whoever sent that text is about to learn why you don't threaten Castellis. The waiting was torture. Sky paced the room, unable to sit still while Lucia monitored feeds and fielded updates from the security team. 30 minutes in, Sky's phone rang. Her mother. Sky stared at it, finger hovering over decline. Answer it, Lucia said. She deserves to know what's happening. Sky answered, Mom. Sky, thank God, where are you? The police are asking questions about your father, and I don't know what to tell them. Mom, slow down. What did the police say? That Dad's been missing for 12 hours, that there might be foul play. Her mother's voice cracked. Sky, what's going on? Where are you? Sky closed her eyes. I'm safe. I can't tell you where, but I'm safe. Are you with your father's business partners? The ones he's been so secretive about? Something like that. Sky, I'm scared. The police found Dad's car abandoned near the docks. His phone was smashed. There was blood. Her mother sobbed. Oh God, there was blood in the car. Sky's stomach lurched. How much blood? They wouldn't tell me. They just asked if Dad had enemies, if he'd been threatened. Her mother's breathing was ragged. I didn't know what to say. I don't know anything about his business. He never told me anything. Mom, listen to me. Dad made some bad deals, got involved with dangerous people. Sky's voice was steady despite her shaking hands. But someone's trying to get him back right now. Someone who can handle these people. Sky, who are you with? I can't tell you that, but I'm safe and people are trying to help Dad. That's all I can say. This is insane. I know, but I need you to trust me. Sky swallowed hard. And Mom, if anyone asks about me, you don't know where I am. You haven't heard from me. Okay. Sky, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. Just please trust me on this. Sky's voice broke. I love you. I'm going to be okay. But I can't talk anymore. She hung up before her mother could argue. Lucia was watching her with unreadable eyes. That was smart. Cold, but smart. I can't tell her the truth. She'd lose her mind. Or she'd do something stupid trying to help. Lucia nodded approval. You're learning. Sky's phone buzzed again. Unknown number, your mother sounds worried. Maybe we should pay her a visit. Put her mind at ease. Sky's blood turned to ice. They're threatening my mother. Lucia grabbed the phone, read the message, and was on her radio immediately. This is Lucia. I need a protection detail at the Brennan residence. Sarah Brennan. Now. She listened. I don't care if we're spread thin. Pull someone from perimeter patrol. This is priority 1. She hung up, turned to Sky. Your mother will have armed guards within 15 minutes. They know where she lives. They've probably known since the beginning. Lucia's expression was grim. This is escalation. They're trying to panic you. It's working. Good. Panic means adrenaline. Adrenaline means focus. Lucia pulled up another screen. Look, security team just arrived at your mother's house. 2 men, both armed, taking positions front and back. Sky watched the feeds show her childhood home, the house she'd grown up in, the porch where she'd learned to ride a bike, now surrounded by men with guns. This is a nightmare, she whispered. This is your reality now. Lucia's voice was matter of fact. Question is, how do you handle it? Sky, there. Eyes straightened her shoulders. I survive. I adapt. I do whatever it takes. There you go. Lucia's smile was approving. You've got Castelli instincts. That'll keep you alive. An hour and 10 minutes after Romelo left, Lucia's radio crackled. Targets acquired. 2 hostages confirmed. 1 critical condition, 1 stable. Initiating extraction. The voice was calm, professional. Contact in 3, 2, 1. Contact. We are taking fire. Gunshots erupted through the speaker, loud enough to make Sky jump. Multiple hostiles, west and north positions, need covering fire on the... More gunshots, shouting in Italian, then silence. Lucia. Sky's voice was small. What's happening? Lucia was already on her phone. Marco, give me a sit rep. She listened, her face going pale. How bad? Another pause. Jesus, okay. Get them out. I don't care what it takes. She hung up and the look on her face made Sky's knees weak. What happened? Sky demanded. They walked into a bigger trap than we thought. 20 hostiles, not 12. Romelo's team is pinned down. Lucia's voice was tight. They got to the hostages, but they can't extract. Too much incoming fire. The hostages, my father, is he alive? One of them is critical, the other's stable. We don't know which is which yet. Lucia was already moving to a weapons locker. I'm going. What no? They need backup. I'm the closest asset. Lucia pulled out a tactical vest, started strapping it on. You stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me or Romelo. Lucia, you can't leave me. I can and I am. Lucia grabbed a rifle, checked the magazine. Sky, if Romelo dies in that warehouse because I didn't go help, I'll never forgive myself. And neither will you. She was right. Sky hated it, but she was right. Go, Sky said. Save them. Lucia paused at the door. If something happens, if someone gets past us, there's a panic button under your nightstand. Red button. Press it, and the entire estate goes into lockdown. Blast doors, reinforced positions, the works. Okay. And Sky, Lucia's expression was fierce. Stay alive. That's all Romelo cares about right now. Don't make his sacrifice worthless. Then she was gone, her footsteps pounding down the hall. Sky stood alone in the bedroom, listening to the silence. No guards outside her door. No Lucia. No Romelo. For the first time since this nightmare began, she was completely alone. Sky moved to the windows, looked out at the dark grounds. The patrols were thinner now. Half the guards had gone with Romelo. The other half were stretched thin, covering the estate. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Alone at last. Poor little bird in her golden cage. Want to know a secret? Sky's hands shook as she typed. What, your father's not at the docks. He's already dead. Has been for hours. The body at Pier 47 is just bait. And your protector just walked into a kill box. Sky's vision blurred. No, but don't worry. We're coming for you now. The estate's wide open. Romelo's team is pinned down. And you're all alone. Sky ran to the nightstand, felt underneath until her fingers found the panic button. She pressed it. Alarms shrieked through the house. Metal shutters slammed down over windows. She heard the thunk of blast doors engaging, sealing off sections of the mansion. And then she heard something worse. Footsteps in the hallway. Multiple footsteps. Moving fast. Sky grabbed her phone, tried to call Romelo. No signal. The lockdown must have cut cellular. The satellite phone. Where was the satellite phone? She found it in the nightstand drawer, pressed the green button with shaking fingers. It rang once. Twice. Sky! Romelo's voice was strained background noise of gunfire, making it hard to hear. Sky, what's wrong? They're in the house, Sky whispered. The alarms, I triggered the panic button, but there are people in the hallway. How many? I don't know. I can hear footsteps. Sky listened to me very carefully. Romelo's voice was deadly calm. Go into the bathroom. Lock the door. There's a panel behind the mirror. Pull it open. Inside is a gun and ammunition. Can you do that? Yes. Good girl. Do it now. I'm sending. The line crackled. Back up, but it'll take more static. 15 minutes. You need to. The line went dead. Sky dropped the phone and ran to the bathroom. Behind the mirror, just as Romelo said, was a hidden panel. Inside a handgun, 3 magazines and a knife. Sky grabbed the gun with shaking hands, remembered Lucia's training. Safety off. Magazine loaded. Grip firm. The bedroom door handle rattled. Then someone kicked it. Hard. The door held, reinforced during the lockdown, but it wouldn't last forever. Another kick. The frame cracked. Sky aimed the gun at the door, her heart hammering so hard she could barely breathe. The door burst open. 3 men in black tactical gear flooded in, weapons raised. Don't move, the lead one shouted. Sky fired. The recoil nearly knocked her over, but she kept her grip, fired again. Again. The lead man went down. The other 2 scattered, taking cover. She's armed, one of them shouted into a radio. Repeat, target is armed and hostile. Sky backed into the bathroom, slammed the door, locked it. Something heavy hit the door from the other side. Little girl, you can't hide forever, a voice called. Come out now. Make this easy. We're taking you either way. Sky's hands were slaking so badly she could barely hold the gun. Think, she needed to think. The window, the drain pipe. She'd tried to escape that way before. This time she had no choice. Sky unlocked the window, shoved it open, and climbed out just as the bathroom door splintered behind her. The drain pipe was slick under her hands. She slid more than climbed her palms, burning her breath, coming in panicked gasps. She was 10 feet from the ground when hands grabbed her ankles. Sky screamed, kicked hard. Her foot connected with someone's face and they let go with a curse. She dropped the remaining distance, hit the ground hard enough to knock the wind from her lungs. Footsteps behind her, shouting. Sky ran. The grounds were chaos alarms, blaring guards, engaging intruders, gunfire echoing off stone walls. She ran toward the tree line, toward darkness, toward anything that wasn't the men chasing. A hand grabbed her shoulder. Sky spun, brought up the gun. Don't shoot. It's me, Maria. The housekeeper's face was pale, her eyes wide. This way. Quickly. She grabbed Sky's hand and pulled her toward a utility shed. Inside, Maria shoved aside tools and supplies to reveal a trapdoor. Down. Now. Maria pushed Sky toward the opening. It's a service tunnel, leads to the garage. There's a car keys in the ignition. Drive until you hit the main road, then call Romelo. What about you? I'm going to seal this behind you. Give you time. Maria's smile was sad. Go, Bambina, before they find you. Sky dropped into the tunnel, landed on concrete. Above her, Maria was already closing the trapdoor. Maria, wait. Tell Romelo I'm sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen. Maria's face disappeared as the door clanged shut. Sky stood in darkness, her heart pounding. A tunnel, a car, a way out. She ran. The tunnel was narrow, dark, claustrophobic. Sky used her phone's flashlight to navigate, moving as fast as she dared. Behind her, she heard an explosion. The house. They were breaching the house. Sky ran faster. The tunnel opened into an underground garage, a space she hadn't known existed, housing 6 cars under low concrete ceilings. The nearest one was a black sedan, keys dangling from the ignition, just as Maria had said. Sky threw herself into the driver's seat, started the engine, and hit the garage door opener. The door rolled up painfully slowly. In the rearview mirror, Sky saw figures appear at the tunnel entrance. The door was halfway up. Sky put the car in gear. The figures raised weapons. The door cleared the car's roof. Sky punched the accelerator. The car shot forward as gunfire erupted behind her. The rear window exploded, safety glass raining into the back seat. Sky screamed but kept driving the car, fishtailing on gravel before catching traction. The estate gates were ahead, massive iron things that were supposed to be locked. They hung open. Someone had breached the perimeter. Sky flew through them at 60 miles an hour, tires squealing as she hit the main road. Behind her, headlights appeared, following. Sky pressed the accelerator to the floor. The car, whatever it was, had power. She hit 90, then 100, the world blurring outside her windows. The headlights behind her kept pace. Sky's phone, wedged in the cup holder, rang. She grabbed it, hit speaker. Hello? Sky, where are you? Romelo. He sounded like he'd been running. I'm back at the estate. The house is in lockdown. You're not in your room. I'm in a car, Sky said, her voice shaking. Maria put me in a tunnel. There was a car. People were shooting. What direction are you heading? I don't know, east. Maybe. There are headlights behind me. They're following you. Yes. Okay, listen. Romelo's voice was controlled fury. Keep driving. Don't stop. I'm tracking your phone now. I'm coming for you. Romelo, what about my father? Is he? Later. Right now, focus on staying alive. Something crashed in the background. Sky, how many cars behind you? She checked the mirror. 2? No, 3. 3. Romelo cursed viciously in Italian. All right. In 2 miles, there's a turnoff for Route 14. Take it. Route 14. You'll see the sign. Take the turn. There's a safe house 20 miles down. I'll meet you there. What if they catch me first? They won't. The certainty in his voice steadied her. You're doing great, Sky. Keep going. I'm on my way. The turnoff appeared. Sky took it at 70, the car sliding through the turn tires, screaming. The headlights followed. They're still behind me, Sky shouted. I know, I'm 5 minutes out. Just keep driving. Sky's hands ached from gripping the wheel. Her vision was blurred with tears she refused to let fall. Keep driving. Stay alive. Don't stop. The mantra repeated in her head as she pushed the car faster the night, a black blur outside. Her phone buzzed with a text. She glanced down. Unknown number, look behind you. Sky's eyes went to the rearview mirror. The lead car was right on her bumper. Then it rammed her. Sky screamed as her car lurched forward to the steering wheel, jerking in her hands. Sky scammer, Romelo's voice through the phone. What happened? They're ramming me? Another impact. Sky's car spun tires, fighting for traction. She corrected barely, the car sliding onto the shoulder before she wrenched it back onto pavement. I can't outrun them. You don't have to. Romelo's voice was pure steel. In 30 seconds, you're going to see my headlights. When you do hit the brakes, hard. Trust me. Romelo. Trust me. Sky counted down. 20 seconds. 15. The car behind her rammed again. Her front tires left the ground for a sickening instant. 10 seconds. 5. Headlights appeared ahead. Coming fast. Now that, Romelo shouted. Sky slammed the brakes. Her car screeched to a halt, the seatbelt cutting into her chest. The car behind her tried to stop, couldn't, and slammed into her bumper with a shriek of metal. And Romelo's SUV, because that's what was coming at them, a massive black SUV smashed into the lead pursuit car at full speed. The impact was catastrophic. Sky watched in her mirror as the pursuit car crumpled like tissue paper, spinning off the road in a shower of sparks. Romelo's SUV didn't even slow down. It pulled alongside Sky's car. The passenger window rolled down. Get in! Romelo shouted. Now! Sky threw open her door, stumbled out on shaking legs. Romelo leaned across, grabbed her arm, hauled her into the SUV with one hand. Drive! He barked to whoever was behind the wheel. The SUV took off as Sky collapsed into the seat, her entire body trembling. Romelo's hands were on her face, turning her head, checking for injuries. Are you hurt? Did they touch you? I'm okay. I'm okay. Sky couldn't stop shaking. My father, Romelo, they said my father's already dead. He's alive. Romelo pulled her against his chest, his arms like iron bands. He's alive. Critical condition, but alive. Lucia got him out. Sky's sob came from somewhere deep. He's alive. He's alive. You're alive. That's all that matters. Romelo's voice was raw. Sky, when I got back to the estate, and you were gone. He didn't finish, just held her tighter. Sky clung to him, her face pressed against his shirt, breathing in smoke and gunpowder, in the scent that was purely him. How did you find me? She whispered. I'll always find you. His hand cradled the back of her head. Always. And in that moment, surrounded by chaos and danger in the wreckage of her old life, Sky believed him. The safe house was a concrete bunker disguised as a storage facility 20 miles from anywhere that mattered. Sky sat wrapped in a blanket that smelled like diesel and old coffee, watching Romelo pace the small room like a caged animal. His shirt was torn blood on his sleeve, his or someone else's, she couldn't tell. Marco, I want every inch of that estate swept, he was saying into his phone. I want to know how they breached. I want to know who gave them entry codes. And I want names. His voice dropped to something deadly. All the names. He hung up, finally looked at Sky. Really looked. You shot someone, he said. It wasn't a question. Sky's hands tightened on the blanket. He was coming through the door. I didn't have a choice. I know. Romelo moved to sit beside her, his weight making the old couch creak. I'm not criticizing. He stopped, jaw working. I'm trying to process that you had to do that because I failed to protect you. You didn't fail. I left you alone in a house under siege. His shout made her flinch. I took my best team to chase bait while they hit the estate. Sky, you could have been killed. Or worse. But I wasn't. Sky turned to face him. I'm here, I'm alive. And my father, where is he? You said he's alive. County General, under guard. Lucia's with him now. Romelo pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. Sky's father, pale as death, hooked to machines. But breathing. Definitely breathing. What happened to him? Sky's voice was small. Cartel worked him over. Broken ribs, punctured lung, internal bleeding. They wanted him to suffer. Romelo's expression darkened. But he'll live. The doctors say he'll make a full recovery in 6 to 8 weeks. Sky's laugh was half sob. 6 to 8 weeks, like he's recovering from surgery, not torture. That's what he's telling your mother, that he was in a car accident, that he's fine. Romelo pocketed the phone. She realized, better she doesn't know the truth. She deserves the truth. She deserves peace. There's a difference. Romelo stood moved to a mini fridge, pulled out 2 water bottles, handed one to Sky. Your father's going to tell her he's selling the business, getting out, moving somewhere quiet. Is he really? He doesn't have a choice. The cartels made their point. They know he's a liability now. Too much heat, too much attention. They're cutting ties. Romelo's smile was grim, which means his debt to my family just became very real. Sky's stomach dropped. What does that mean? It means he has 90 days to produce $50 million. Or, Romelo met her eyes, or the original terms of the contract stand. I become yours. You become Castelli property, to work off the debt however we see fit. He said it like reading a grocery list. Those are the terms. Sky set down the water bottle before she threw it. After everything that just happened, you're still holding me to that contract. I'm honoring my father's agreement. That's what I do. Your father's dead, which makes the debt my responsibility. Romelo's control cracked. Sky, I don't want this any more than you do, but I have a family to lead, businesses to run, people depending on me to honor our word. If I let your father walk away from this debt, every deal we've ever made becomes worthless. So I'm just what insurance collateral, a bargaining chip. Romelo stopped, dragged a hand through his hair. You're more than that. You know you are. Do I? Sky stood facing him. Because all I know is that I've been kidnapped, shot at, and nearly killed, and you're still talking about contracts and debts and honor like any of that matters more than my life. Your life is all that matters. The words exploded out of him. Don't you get it? When I saw you were gone, when I thought they'd taken you. His voice broke. Sky, I would have burned down every cartel in the state to get you back. The raw emotion in his voice stopped her cold. Then let me go, Sky whispered. If you care about me at all, let me go. Romelo's laugh was bitter. I can't. Why not? Because the second you leave my protection, you're a target. He moved closer, his presence overwhelming. Those text messages. That was the Sinaloa cartel's tech division. We traced them. They've been grooming you for weeks, learning your patterns, your weaknesses, your triggers. Tonight was their play. They failed, but they won't stop. Sky's legs felt weak. What do you mean they won't stop? I mean you're valuable, a Castelli asset, a leverage point against your father, and now someone who's killed one of their men. Romelo's expression was bleak. You're marked, Sky, for life. So I'm trapped, forever. You're protected, forever. He caught her shoulders. There's a difference. Not from where I'm standing. Romelo's phone rang. He answered without looking away from her. What? His face went pale. He listened. Lock it down, full protocols. I'm on my way. He hung up and the look on his face made Sky's blood run cold. What happened? She asked. Your mother was just admitted to County General, same hospital as your father. Romelo was already moving, grabbing keys. Someone tried to grab her from her house. The guards got her out, but she's hysterical, demanding to see you. I need to go to her. Absolutely not. Romelo caught her arm as she tried to pass. Sky, think. They hit the estate, they hit your father, now they're hitting your mother. This is coordinated. They want to flush you out. I don't care. She's my mother. And she's protected. She has 4 guards on her door and Lucia running security. Romelo's grip tightened. You show up there, you paint a target on every person in that hospital. Sky jerked away. So what am I supposed to do, hide here while my family falls apart? Yes. The single word was iron. Until we neutralize the threat, you stay here. Safe. Alive. I'm so sick of that word, Sky was shouting now. Safe. You keep saying I'm safe, but my father was tortured, my mother was attacked, and I had to shoot someone to survive. How is any of this safe? Because you're alive to complain about it, Romelo shouted back. Do you understand how close you came to dying tonight? How many ways this could have gone wrong? His hands fisted at his sides. I had men die tonight protecting you. Good men. And you're standing here arguing with me about visiting your mother. The words hit like a slap. Men died. Sky's voice was small. 2 in the estate breach, another 3 wounded. Romelo's eyes were haunted. They died doing their job, protecting Castelli property. And I'm the one who has to tell their families why. Sky sank back onto the couch. I didn't know. How could you? You were too busy running for your life. Romelo's voice gentled. Sky, I'm not blaming you, but I need you to understand the stakes. This isn't a game. People die. And I can't, he stopped, jaw working. I can't lose you too. The confession hung between them. Sky looked up at him. This man who'd kidnapped her, protected her, infuriated her, and somehow become the only constant in her chaos. What am I to you? She asked quietly. Really? Romelo was silent for a long moment. Then he sat beside her close enough that their knees touched. You were supposed to be collateral, he said finally. A debt to honor, an obligation. His hand found hers. But somewhere between the gala and tonight, you became something else. What? Someone I die to protect. His thumb traced her knuckles. Someone who matters more than honor or debts or any of the rules I've built my life around. Sky's breath caught. Romelo, I know it's insane. I know I have no right to feel this way about someone I'm technically holding prisoner. His laugh was self-deprecating. But when I thought they'd taken you, when I saw your room empty and the window open, his voice cracked. I've never been that scared in my life. Sky's eyes burned. I shot someone tonight. I know. I stole a car and drove like a maniac and almost died. I know. And all I could think was that I needed to survive because if I died, Sky's voice broke. If I died, you'd blame yourself, and I couldn't do that to you. Romelo's hand cupped her face. Sky, I'm so angry at you, she whispered, for kidnapping me, for keeping me here, for making me feel things I shouldn't feel. What things? She met his eyes. Safe, protected, like I matter. You do matter. I'm collateral. You're everything? The words were raw, honest. And I know I have no right to say that. I know I'm the last person who should. But She kissed him. It was desperate and messy and tasted like tears, and Sky didn't care. She grabbed his shirt and pulled him closer, needing his warmth, his solidity, his absolute certainty in a world that had turned upside down. Romelo froze for one shocked second. Then his arms came around her, and he kissed her back like she was oxygen, and he was drowning. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Romelo rested his forehead against hers. This is a terrible idea, he said. The worst, Sky agreed. I'm still not letting you go. I know. And your father still owes $50 million. I know that too. Sky's hands fisted in his shirt. But Romelo, I'm choosing this. Right now in this moment, I'm choosing to stay. Not because of the debt or the danger or any of it, because I want to. His eyes searched hers. Why? Because you're the only person who's been completely honest with me, even when the truth was ugly. Sky's voice steadied. My father lied. My mother lied. Everyone in my old life pretended everything was fine while building a house of cards. But you told me exactly what I was facing, and you've kept every promise you made. Sky, I'm not saying I forgive you for kidnapping me. I'm not saying this is healthy or normal or anything approaching, okay? She met his eyes, but I'm saying I trust you, and that's more than I can say about anyone else. Romelo's kiss this time was gentle, reverent, like she was something precious. When his phone rang again, they both groaned. Ignore it, Sky said. I can't. It could be. He checked the screen. It's Lucia. He answered. Talk to me. His expression shifted. Are you sure? He listened. No, that's Jesus. Okay, keep him sedated. I'll be there in 20. He hung up and the look on his face made Sky's stomach drop. What? She asked. Your father's awake, and he's saying things. Romelo stood paced. Things about the cartel, about why they really grabbed him. What kind of things? The kind that change everything. Romelo's voice was grim. Sky, your father wasn't just laundering money. He was stealing from them. Sky's world tilted. What? For years, skimming percentages, hiding assets, building a nest egg they didn't know about. Romelo's jaw was tight. The 50 million he owes me. That's cartel money, money he stole. Oh God. Which means the people trying to grab you aren't just about leverage anymore. They want their money back. And they think you know where it is. Sky stood on shaking legs. I don't know anything about his business. They don't believe that. They think he told you, gave you account numbers or access codes or something. Romelo grabbed her shoulders. Sky, did your father ever give you anything? A safe deposit key, a USB drive, anything unusual? Sky's mind raced. No, nothing. He barely talked to me about anything important. She stopped. Wait, what? My birthday. 3 weeks ago, he gave me a necklace, said it was my grandmother's, but I'd never seen it before. Sky's hand went to her throat. The necklace wasn't there. She'd left it at home when she went to the gala. He was so insistent I keep it safe, said it was the most valuable thing he'd ever give me. Romelo's eyes went sharp. Where is it now? My apartment, in my jewelry box. Sky's breath came fast. You think? I think we need to get that necklace, now. Romelo was already on his phone. Marco, I need a team at Sky's apartment, full sweep. We're looking for a necklace, probably has a hidden compartment or USB drive built in. He hung up, turned back to Sky. What did it look like? Gold locket, antique looking. Had a weird clasp, really intricate, took me forever to figure out how to open it. Sky pressed her hands to her temples. Inside was a photo of my grandmother. At least that's what he said. Did you try to remove the photo? No, why would I? Because that's where you hide things. Romelo was already moving toward the door. Come on, we're going to your apartment. It's not safe. Nowhere safe anymore. At least your apartment might have answers. He tossed her a bulletproof vest from a storage locker. Put this on, we're moving fast. 20 minutes later, they were pulling up to Sky's building, a modest complex in a decent neighborhood that now felt like enemy territory. Romelo's team had already swept it. Marco met them at the entrance. Place is clear. No signs of forced entry, but boss, Marco's expression was tight. Someone's been here recently. Things are moved. Drawers opened. Sky's stomach dropped. They searched my apartment. Looks like it. Marco led them upstairs. Professional job. They tried to cover their tracks, but there are tells. Sky's apartment door hung open. Inside, everything looked normal at first glance. But Marco was right, drawers slightly askew, cushions, not quite flush. Books on shelves in wrong order. Someone had been through her entire life looking for something. Jewelry box, Romelo said. Where? Bedroom. Top dresser drawer. Sky moved down the hall, Romelo close behind. The bedroom looked untouched. Sky pulled open the top drawer. Empty. Her jewelry box, a small wooden case with a broken lock, was gone. No, Sky rifled through the drawer. No, it was right here. They took it. Romelo's voice was flat. They got here first. Sky sank onto the bed, her mind reeling. So they have it. Whatever my father hid, they have it. Maybe. Romelo crouched in front of her. Or maybe your father was smart enough to have a backup plan. Sky, think. Did he give you anything else? Say anything strange? Sky closed her eyes, replaying the birthday dinner. Her father had been nervous, she remembered now. Kept checking his phone. Kept looking at her like he wanted to say something but couldn't. He asked me to remember something, Sky said slowly. A number? Said it was my grandmother's birthday. Made me repeat it back to him 3 times. What was the number? 8/17/42. August 17th, 1942. Sky opened her eyes. At the time, I thought he was just being sentimental, but it's a code. Romelo stood, pulling out his phone. Vamos. Marco, get me everything on Thomas Brennan's financial records. Bank accounts, safe deposit boxes, storage units, everything. He hung up, turned back to Sky. If that number's a code, it opens something. We just need to figure out what. Sky's phone buzzed. She'd almost forgotten she had it. Unknown number. Good girl. You're finally asking the right questions. But you're looking in the wrong place, Sky showed Romelo. He read it, his expression going volcanic. How are they still tracking you? He grabbed her phone, started examining it. We wiped this. Fresh install. No tracking apps. He stopped. Turned the phone over. On the back so small, Sky had never noticed it was a tiny bump under the case. Romelo peeled back the case. A tracking chip smaller than a grain of rice fell into his palm. Son of a bitch. He crushed it under his heel. They've been following you this whole time. Another text came through on the satellite phone Romelo carried cute. But we have 6 other ways to track her. Want to try again? Romelo typed back, "Who is this?" The response was immediate. Someone who knows what Thomas stole, someone who wants it back, and someone who's willing to trade. Trade what? Sky's freedom for the money, all 50 million. She brings it to us, she walks away. Simple. Romelo showed Sky the screen. It's a trap. Obviously. Sky read the messages again. But what if it's also the truth? What if they really would let me go? They won't. You don't know that. Yes, I do, because I know how cartels work. Romelo's voice was flat. They'll take the money and kill you anyway. Loose ends get tied up. That's the rule. Sky stood paced to the window. Outside, her old neighborhood looked peaceful. Normal. Like her entire world hadn't just imploded. My father's dying wish, she said quietly. What do you think it would be, Sky? Seriously, if he only had 1 day left, what would he tell me to do? She turned back. Pay the debt. Run what? Romelo was quiet for a long moment. He'd tell you to survive, however you had to, even if it meant working with the cartels. Even then. Sky nodded slowly. Then I have an idea, and you're going to hate it. Romelo's eyes narrowed. I already hate it. We tell them yes, we agree to the trade. Sky moved closer. But we don't bring the money, we bring a trap. They'll kill you the second they realize, not if I'm wired, not if your team is watching, not if we control the meeting place. Sky's voice gained strength. Romelo, they want me to bring the money. Fine. I'll bring something better. I'll bring evidence. Of what? Of everything. My father's records, his laundering network, every account, every transaction, every name. Sky grabbed Romelo's arm. You said my father was keeping records, skimming money. That means he documented everything. We find those records, we hand them over to the FBI, and the cartel's entire operation collapses. Romelo stared at her. That's insane, reckless, likely to get me killed. Sky's smile was sharp. Yeah, but it ends this, once and for all. Sky, the FBI, is already investigating my father. Has to be right. He's a known money launderer whose business just collapsed spectacularly. Sky's mind was racing now, pieces clicking together. We give them everything. Names, dates, amounts. In exchange for witness protection for my mother, immunity for my father, and freedom for me. Romelo's jaw worked. And what do I get? Out. Clean. Sky met his eyes. Romelo, you said you're not your father, that you want to do things differently. Prove it. Help me burn down the system that trapped us both. The silence stretched so long, Sky thought he'd refuse. Then Romelo pulled out his phone. I know someone at the FBI, someone who owes me a favor. But Sky, his eyes bored into hers. If we do this, there's no going back. Your father goes to prison. Your family's reputation is destroyed, and you. I get my life back. Sky's voice was steel. A real life, not one built on lies and blood money. Romelo studied her face. Then he made the call. The next 72 hours were a blur of FBI meetings, document reviews, and planning sessions that left Sky's head spinning. Her father's records were extensive. 20 years of laundering documented in meticulous detail on encrypted drives hidden in 3 separate safe deposit boxes. The birthday code had opened the first one. That led to 2 more. The FBI agent, a hard-eyed woman named Reeves, looked at the evidence like Christmas had come early. This is enough to take down the Sinaloa cartel's entire East Coast operation, she said, plus a dozen subsidiary organizations. Mr. Castelli, you realize what you're handing us. Complete immunity for my family's involvement, Romelo said flatly. That's the price. Your family laundered money too. Prove it. Romelo's smile was sharp. Without my cooperation, all you have is Thomas Brennan's word, and he's currently sedated in a hospital, unable to testify. Reeves's jaw tightened, but she nodded. Fine, immunity for Castelli operations, but Brennan goes down. Agreed. Sky's voice was steady. But my mother gets witness of protection. New identity, new location, full security. Done. Reeves turned to her team. Start processing this. I want indictments ready by Monday. Sky walked out of the FBI building 3 hours later feeling like she'd aged a decade. Romelo was waiting by the car phone pressed to his ear. He hung up when he saw her. Your father's awake, he said, asking for you. Sky's hands clenched. I don't want to see him. I know, but he's trying to make things right, in his own way. Romelo's expression softened. He signed over everything. The business, the assets, even the house. It all goes to your mother. And he confessed, full confession. Names, dates, everything. To make himself feel better. Maybe, or maybe because he finally realized what his choices cost you. Romelo caught her hand. Either way, he wants to say goodbye before they transfer him to federal custody. Sky closed her eyes. I don't know if I can. Then don't. You owe him nothing. Romelo's thumb traced her palm. But Sky, if you don't go, you'll regret it. Not today, but someday. He was right. Damn him, he was right. They went to the hospital. Her father looked smaller somehow. Broken. The machines around him beeped steadily, marking time he didn't deserve. Sky. His voice was hoarse. You came. Romelo said you wanted to talk. Sky stayed by the door, Romelo a solid presence beside her. So talk. I'm sorry. Tears tracked down her father's face. For all of it. For selling you, for lying, for every choice I made that led here. Okay. That's it. Just okay. What do you want me to say, Dad? Sky's voice was surprisingly calm. That I forgive you, I don't. That I understand, I don't. You sold your daughter to pay your debts. There's nothing you can say that makes that okay. I know. His hand reached toward her. Sky didn't take it. But I want you to know everything I did, I thought I was protecting you, protecting our family. You were protecting yourself. Sky moved closer finally. But you know what? I'm done being angry. I'm done letting your choices define my life. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to prison. Mom's going into witness protection. And I'm going to live my life. Free. Finally free. What about the debt, the $50 million forgiven? Romelo spoke for the first time. In exchange for Sky's cooperation with the FBI, I'm releasing your family from all obligations. Her father's eyes went wide. Your wife finity. Because she's worth more than money. Romelo's hand found Sky's. And because some debts can't be paid in cash. They left before her father could respond. In the hallway, Sky finally let herself cry. Romelo held her while she broke his arms, the only thing keeping her upright. It's over, she whispered against his chest. It's really over. Not yet. Romelo pulled back and cupped her face. There's still one thing left. What do I? Letting you go. His smile was sad. That was the deal, right? FBI gets their evidence, you get your freedom. Which means you're free to leave. Walk away. Live that life you wanted. Sky stared at him. And you? I go back to running my family's business. Being a proper Don. Following the rules. His thumb brushed her cheek. Without you. That's what you want. What I want doesn't matter. Romelo's voice was rough. Sky, you deserve normal, safe, boring, everything I can't give you. Sky was quiet for a long moment. Then she laughed. What? Romelo looked confused. You still don't get it. Sky grabbed his shirt, pulled him close. Romelo, I've been shot at, kidnapped, and hunted by cartels. I've killed a man. I've watched my entire life crumble. And through all of it, the only time I felt safe was with you. Sky. So no, I'm not walking away. I'm not going back to my old life, because that life was a lie. She met his eyes. I'm choosing this. I'm choosing you. Messy and dangerous and absolutely insane as that is. You could have anything. I want you. The words were simple. Absolute. Romelo Castelli, I want you. All of you. The violence and the honor and the stupid protective instincts. I want the life you can give me. The real one, not the pretty lie. Romelo kissed her like she was his last breath. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. You're sure, he asked. I've never been more sure of anything. Your mother will be safe in witness protection. She'll understand, eventually. Sky's hands fisted in his shirt. And if she doesn't, that's her choice. This is mine. Romelo's smile was slow, genuine. Then I have a question for you. What? He pulled a small box from his pocket. Inside was a ring, antique gold, simple, beautiful. My grandmother's, he said. She gave it to my grandfather when he was trying to prove he was worthy of her. He wore it on a chain for 2 years before she finally agreed to marry him. Romelo met her eyes. Sky Brennan, will you let me spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you? Sky's laugh was half sob. That's the worst proposal I've ever heard. Is that a yes? That's a yes, you idiot. She kissed him. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Romelo slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. 6 months later, Sky stood in the garden of the Castelli estate, rebuilt after the attack, stronger and safer than before, and married the man who'd kidnapped her. Her mother, living safely under a new name in Oregon, sent flowers but didn't attend. Sky understood. Some wounds took time to heal. Her father, serving 15 years in federal prison, sent a letter. Sky burned it without reading it. Lucia stood as maid of honor, armed even in formal wear. Marco walked Sky down the aisle, tears in his eyes. And when Romelo said, I do, when he kissed her like she was his entire world, Sky knew she'd made the right choice. Not the easy choice, not the safe choice, but the real one, the honest one, the choice that set her free. Because sometimes freedom isn't about escaping your cage. Sometimes it's about choosing who holds the key. And Sky had chosen Romelo Castelli, kidnapper protector, and the only man who'd ever been completely honest about who he was and what he wanted. He wanted her, all of her, forever. And she wanted exactly the same thing.